Yo, it is January 13th, Friday the 13th, everybody's favorite day. Uh, so we're gonna go back. How far are we going back? Way back. It goes a little something like this. Deep South Wrestling was a huge promotion in Louisiana wrestling back when I first started. They were actually really big right before I got into the business, and they were just doing their thing, man. They were based out of Baton Rouge. It was owned by Dennis and Eric Goff. Eric Goff was a wrestler. Dennis was the promoter. Eric was his son, and he wound up being my first kind of legitimate tag partner. We ran together and did some shows, a few shows together as the Bod Squad. Two guys, one 6'5", 350 pounds, another guy 6', 300 pounds, and a manager named Todd the Bod, and we were called the Bod Squad. Yeah, it was ridiculous, but it worked. At that point in time, Minotaur was just Minotaur without a mask. Trying to come into myself, trying to learn the ropes, if you will, trying to learn everything, and just kind of a sponge, kind of accepting everything in. So I haven't really developed a character yet, but I knew what my name wanted to be. So, I mean, I went out and bought these Zubaz, those old workout pants, the California Crazy Pants. They were flames, all over flames, all up. The pants legs were flames. And yeah, everything was flames back then. Flames and Kid Rock. But yeah, we tagged together as the Bod Squad. We had a blast. We had a show in Grand Isle that we did, and I think it was against Tommy and Half Breed. We did another show in Houma. I think it was the same thing because it was a show with Terry Taylor. Terry Taylor and Kevin Northcutt wrestled each other that night. I actually got a chance to go pick up. They wanted me to go pick Terry Taylor up from the airport, so I got to pick his brain from Kenner all the way to Houma, and that was a really good conversation. He bought me a steak dinner and everything. It was real cool. I haven't talked to Terry since in a long time, but I don't know if he'd remember who I am. But it was a very good. He helped me out a lot. But me and Eric, we had a blast together. Like we just. Especially with Tommy and Wade, Tommy and Half Breed, because we get in there and we'd laughing the whole time at each other. And but we did all kinds of stuff. We did a Walmart show out in the parking lot. That was the time that I carried Luke Hawks to the ring because it was too hot outside. The things we did, Grand Isle was a show for the record book. Dusty Wolf did this gimmick, Doink the Clown and Mr. Wrestling 3. He did two of them. And come to find out, one of the police officers that were working security that night in Grand Isle was scared of clowns. Well, Dusty got word of that. Doink got word of that. This cop never watched wrestling before, didn't know what wrestling was. All he knew, he was scared of clowns. Man, Doink got all dressed up, and the three security officers were standing there talking to each other. And that's all Doink did was stuck his head around a corner and went, "Hello, boys!" or something like that. This cop turned white, started backpedaling, grabbing for his gun, couldn't get his gun, through the doors, down the steps he rolled. Next, I think he was on a radio. "You keep that goddamn clown away from me!" And he's running down Highway 1 in Grand Isle, running back. He ran back to his house. He was that scared. Talk about funny. Hilarious. That was a long time ago. Doink used to come out with a water gun, a water pistol, and he was so good with this water gun that there was this woman sitting in the front row eating nachos, and she's sitting there not even paying attention, and she's got the nacho like this. Doink shoots the nacho out of her hand, and when she looks at that and it looks back up, catches her right in the face. Man, those we had some fun back then. But me and Road Rage, we still keep in contact. We've been texting all day because I've been telling him, hey, remind me of some things because we both old and we forget. But man, he was my first tag partner, and man, I love Eric to death. We still good friends to this day. Every time we see each other, like I said, he's a ginger just like me. We could actually pass as brothers, and he's one of the first guys that recommended I wear a mask, and I'm like and but he wasn't as adamant as the other guy was. But I missed that guy to death because we had fun. Missed that promotion to death. But when the commission started with their rules and regulations that were out of this world, Mr. Dennis was like, I'm done. And I think they live in right around Pensacola, Florida now. They moved out of Louisiana. And I talked to Eric on occasion, and we've been kind of texting all day today. And he said he's going to send me a bunch of videos that he and I are in. I'm looking forward to seeing some of those. But Road Rage and I, we went as the Bod Squad. And we both call each other Chunky Butt because one fan one time went, "Yeah, I ain't nothing but Chunky Butt." Like that. And I thought the guy was talking to me. Well, he thought the guy was talking to him. I said, well, we both Chunky Butt, so we call each other Chunky Butt. We've been calling each other Chunky Butt for years. Chunky Butt, because we were Chunky Butts. So, yeah, that was, man, we had some fun back then. We did Grand Isle, we did Houma, we did Baton Rouge, we did Bayou Pigeon. Bayou Pigeon? Pierre Part. We did a show in Pierre Part, and man, I was sick as a dog. I woke up that morning with a bad cold, a flu or something. I was dousing myself with medications and everything. And this is the first night I met Herman Mathern, Stan Sweetan. I remember Big Joe hit me on the outside of the ring, and he hit me right in the forehead. Boom. When he hit me, I took a bump back and I slid against the wall. Well, there was a sofa up against the wall in this building that Stan was sitting on. And he was just kind of sitting there, kind of watching the show. And I slid right past him, up against the wall. And when I hit the wall, I'm so weak, my head nailed the back of the wall. And I must have made a noise. And he looks over at me and he goes, "That must have hurt." And I looked at him and just started cracking up laughing. And that was it. And we became the best of friends ever since then. So I got to meet like I said, I got to meet a lot of guys working with Deep South. Brian Hart, Nick Bondage, Josh Booty, Necro Butcher, Masada, Dan Severn, Kevin Northcutt, and the list goes on and on. So every promotion that I got to work for, I got to meet new people because a lot of promotions didn't use the same guys that worked in Louisiana because a lot of the promoters were kind of at each other's throats a little bit for no god-awful reason whatsoever, just because they didn't like each other or something. I don't know what the hell. But it was awful. It was kind of retarded. But all of the promoters, none of them got along. But they all worked for each other. It was weird. It was a weird day back then. But that's another story for another time, how wrestling was back then, and the guys back then compared to the guys in wrestling today. I'm going to tell that story one day too. It's my personal opinion of what happens and what goes on and what happened. So we're about 9 minutes in. Today is Friday the 13th. There's a huge show at the Lamar Dixon Center in Gonzales with Pro Wrestling 225 and GSW. They're putting on a joint show. If you're on your way there, please be careful. Have a blast. The card is going to be phenomenal. And if you're watching this after the show, hit me up. Let me know how you liked it, because I'm telling you, it's going to be a good show. The talent that's on this card is phenomenal. I hope y'all have a good time. I hope y'all have a good weekend. Be safe. Peace.